Hey guys, welcome back to Indiana's English Lounge. A while ago, one of my subscribers suggested that I do a video on inverted sentences. Today, I'm going to briefly introduce what an inverted sentence is, how to form it, and 5 different special expressions that you can use the inverted sentence structure with. First, let's really quickly review basic sentence structure. We know that the fundamental English sentence structure in your usual sentence is subject and a verb, and sometimes after that, an object. So, we eat the pizza. You will take out the trash. I studied English. In the question form, the verb moves to the beginning of the sentence before the subject, or an auxiliary verb is added before the subject. Do we eat the pizza? Will you take out the trash? Did I study English? We can follow a similar sentence pattern to these question form sentences with the inverted sentence pattern. Instead of questions, these become exclamations or statements. The purpose of an inverted sentence is to emphasize what you want to say. Make it sound more dramatic. It's usually seen in literary writing or more formal contexts. Here are some examples of what these look like. Not only does she play video games, but she beats me every single time we play together. Never have I seen such a beautiful view of the sea. Under no circumstances will I drive drunk. You must submit 2 forms of photo ID with your application. Only then will it be reviewed. Little did she know that the interview was going to be a disaster. You may have seen some of these kinds of sentences before. The important thing to remember is you cannot invert every single sentence. We can only use this inverted form with certain expressions, certain trigger words. So let's take a look at a handful of these expressions. Let's start with what I think is probably the most common inverted sentence structure, because I use this one in conversation very frequently. Not only, but also. This emphasizes 2 facts and can also make the second one sound extra special or even more impressive. It's like saying, in addition to A, also B. For the inverted sentence, you will use the question form. So what if you want to say, Nick is good at studying. He's also an incredible athlete. We're going to turn the first part, Nick is good at studying, and turn that into a question. Is Nick good at studying? Then we put the question version after not only. Not only is Nick good at studying, but he's also an incredible athlete. As you can hear, I'm not saying, is Nick good at studying, like a question. I'm saying it like a statement. Not only is Nick good at studying, but he's also an incredible athlete. Here's another one. My husband cleaned the house and he cooked dinner. We're going to take the first part and turn it into a question. My husband cleaned the house. Did my husband clean the house? Then we will put that question, the inverted sentence, after not only. Not only did my husband clean the house, but he cooked dinner too. Here are some more examples. Not only have I completed my homework, but I've finished studying for my final exams. Not only is she visiting us for 2 weeks, but she's bringing her 2 dogs with her. Not only does Michael speak Spanish, but he also speaks French. Not only does Indiana post grammar videos, but she posts vocabulary videos too. Okay, the next one is Never. In the US, there's a popular party game among teenagers, or at least when I was a teenager, called Never Have I Ever. This is a game where you hold up 5 fingers and you go around in a circle and take turns saying things that you have never done. If someone else has done this thing, they have to put a finger down. Whoever gets to 0 fingers first loses the game. For example, my go-to strategy was saying, never have I ever been to Disney World. So this means I have never been to Disney World. Again, in normal, everyday life, I would probably just say, I've never been to Disney World. But when you're trying to be dramatic and emphasize your feelings or the sentence that you're saying, then you can use the inverted sentence structure and say, never have I ever been to Disney World. Just like we saw before, you will use the question form for your inverted sentence. So if you wanted to emphasize the sentence, she had never seen such a huge crowd before, then you can turn that into a question. Had she seen such a huge crowd before? And put never in front of it. Never had she seen such a huge crowd before. We usually see this with perfect tenses, like to have done or had done, but you can see it with other tenses as well. I will never leave my country becomes never will I leave my country. She is often alone, but she is never lonely becomes she is often alone, but never is she lonely. Here's a few more. Never does he stop asking questions in class. Never have I been to Europe. Never have I forgotten to water the plants. The third one is under no circumstances. This is a great one for emphasizing firm rules, policies, or beliefs. This one is quite similar to never, but we usually use it to talk about expectations or promises for the future rather than past experiences. Just like never, we simply follow under no circumstances with the question form. If you want to say, I will not tolerate lateness, it becomes, under no circumstances will I tolerate lateness. You should not travel without your passport becomes, under no circumstances should you travel without your passport. He is not allowed to skip school becomes, under no circumstances is he allowed to skip school. I will never insult you becomes, under no circumstances will I ever insult you. Although it's more common to use it for the future, it is possible to use under no circumstances with the past. For example, under no circumstances did I lie to the public. Under no circumstances have I been rude to somebody on purpose. The next one is only or only then. This is used to emphasize a conditional, like if A, then B. B will only happen once A happens. For example, let's look at this conditional. If you study every night, you will pass the exam. If we want to emphasize that the only way to pass the exam is to study every single night, then we can say, you have to study every night. Only then will you pass the exam. We can also move things around a little bit and say, only if you study every night will you pass the exam. For this sentence structure, we use only plus the condition and then the outcome in the inverted sentence structure. Here's another example. If you want to say, I won't be satisfied until I have paid off my mortgage, you can say, I want to pay off my mortgage. Only then will I be satisfied. Or, only once I pay off my mortgage will I be satisfied. Here's some more examples. Only once I complete my work do I allow myself to watch TV. She revises the material multiple times. Only then does she retain the information. Only once I book my flight will I start planning the rest of the trip. Follow your training regimen strictly. Only then will you improve your performance. Okay, the last one I want to go over with you guys is little. This one is often seen in novels when the author is explaining something to the reader that a character doesn't know. For example, Mary was on her way to her job interview. Little did she know that this interview would change her life. So let's say you're telling a story about how you met your spouse to your friends, and you want to make it sound dramatic. To make this sound really dramatic, you could say, "Little did I know that I would meet my future wife at the grocery store that day." Little is almost always seen with the verb know, but you can sometimes see it with other verbs like realize or understand. We also usually see it with the simple past tense and then a future in the past structure like would or was going to. Here are some more examples. Little did she know that her tiny mistake would ruin everything. Little did he understand how quickly he would fall in love. Little did I know that my daughter was going to become a famous singer. Little did I know that I was going to subscribe to Indiana's channel after watching this video. Here's a list of several other inverted sentence trigger words that you can look up and check on your own. This sentence structure is usually used with something called a negative adverbial, so you can look that up too. Now that you've seen examples with some of these sentence structures, why don't you try and make some inverted sentences on your own? Post them in the comments below and I will make corrections for any mistakes that I see. Only once you start using new grammar structures will you master them. If you thought this video was helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could like it and subscribe to my channel for more. I've got lots of other grammar, vocabulary, and listening practice videos. See you soon.